welcome back to the channel. Long time no see, but now see now. Alright, so in this video, even though there's already a lot of tutorials, no, not a lot of tutorials, there's already AI that can help us with this, but I'm still gonna record this so that in the future when this thing comes up, I can just be able to go back here and check what I did instead of keep on asking AI, and AI is going to give me a lot of rubbish stuff. Then I'll have to keep on tweaking it so that I can get what I wanted to get. Right? I hope that English is understandable. Okay, so what we wanted to do here is to practice behavior driven development. So, behavior driven development is a methodology, I believe it's a methodology, so that it will help avoid bugs because everyone in the team knows exactly what they are going to develop. I think that's my definition for it. But let me check what is the definition of driven development in like ChatGPT or Gemini. Gemini. Jing, 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 jing. Okay, so define behavior driven development. So behavior driven development is an agile software development process, so it's not methodology by definition. So process that encourages collaboration among developers, QA, and non-technical business stakeholders like product owners. It is an evolution of test-driven development that focuses on the behavior of the system from the user's perspective rather than the implementation details of the code. So this is what I'm talking about, like unit test. It's just a waste of time if you don't know what you're testing. So, and a lot of developers are like that, especially if they have a lot of sideline, you listening right now. I know that you have a lot of sideline, and you don't really understand the requirements. So the goal of BDD is to create a shared understanding of how an application should behave through continuous communication and the use of sorry, and the use of domain specific language, natural language. The three pillars of BDD is like this: discovery, formulation, and automation verification. The Gherkin syntax, so I'm gonna show you the Gherkin. I'm not sure how to read it. I think Gherkin. So this is a given what then and blah 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 blah. Okay, so fortunately, there is a thing now called Playwright that can be able to help us automate this stuff when developing our code. And I'm not sure why there's a cucumber here, but yeah, I'm not sure if this is still applicable, but yeah, this is how I did it in this project that I set up so that we can test behavior driven development. And I also have it here like a mock meeting, BDD workflow. I can discuss here the BDD workflow. Step one or step zero. The team is going to decide what they're going to build. So define the product, decide what you are building. So For example, a simple e-commerce web app where users can browse products and add to cart and check out. A discussion in the meeting, the product owner, the business analyst, and developers QA. These are the participants. Product owner, business analyst, developers, and QA. In our team, I'm not sure who is the business analyst, but I don't hear them all the time. So we might have to change our business structure, our meeting structure, so that we can have these participants. We're going to switch to behavior driven development. Because what I observe is we don't have a lot of experience. And nobody's trying to fix, maybe. They're just trying to fix um, issues with their gut feeling, but not like they're with a given, like established process where people already studied this, people are making money teaching these things, and this is how we should do it. And can also see on paper this is very nice because this can avoid bugs and issues because everyone knows what they are trying to build. Like for example, here in step 0 agenda, the problem users want to buy products online quickly. So the goal of the team is to create a web app to let users browse products and make purchases. It's a very simple goal. And the constraint is budget, timeline, technology stack. That's just the constraint. And our organization doesn't have any constraint because we are so rich. And I believe this constraint is for poor poor companies, like those companies, trying hard companies. Okay, but just keep on going, guys. I know you're gonna make it in the future. Okay, step 1, identify roles. So think about who uses the product. So the problem I um, I observe and how we do things is like everyone's assuming that everyone knows what are the rules. So maybe if you can ask developers, like, hey, do you know what's the rule of our users? What are the rules of our users? I believe 50% cannot answer. Okay, so the roles are, for example, customer. So we'll define the role. Browses and buys products. Admin manages products and orders. Guest browse products without login. So number step two is to run a story workshop. So goal, turn product needs into user stories. So I'm not sure how effective people are doing this, but yeah, I don't see like this kind of tickets, this kind of parts. Maybe they are doing this, but um, maybe I saw it once or twice, but maybe they had to do more. Okay. Okay. Write many stories. Don't filter yet. Yeah. Write as many as possible. Okay. Review it for clarity and correction. Okay. So for example, as a customer, I want to view product listings so that I can like this, like that, like that, like that. Okay. Admin, you also define the role, and then the user story. As an admin, I want to add or remove products so that catalog is up to date. Alright, so step 3 is to prioritize stories. So use must co method, must have, should have, could have, and won't have. For example, we're going to pick up what are the must haves. So product listing, card checkout. These are like picked up from according to the user stories. So should have like guest checkout could have these are like the what's the difference between must have and should have. So must have is like the no is that the requirement like the core must have and should have like it should have this must have and should have. What's the definition? What's the difference between must have and should have? Okay, let's ask. What is the difference between must have and should have? Okay, in the context of software development and project management, these terms are most commonly defined by the Moscow method. This prioritization technique helps team manage scope and focus on what actually drives value for the user. Here is the breakdown of the differences. Okay, so must have yeah, so this is what I'm trying to say. Non-negotiable requirements that are mandatory for the product to function or to be legal. Impact of missing the product cannot launch in it is considered a failure. So like this, we have a project where the definition of must have is very vague and suddenly one of the top decision makers just said that we cannot launch and the other people are expected that hey we did a good job what did what went what didn't went well so how to say that so this must be correctly defined okay and should have is important requirements that add significant value but are not vital for current release. The product is functional but painful. Okay, so this is like we can still launch, but it's not very good experience because some or most of the should have are missing. So for example, here if we didn't put checkout, they can still view the cart. Hey, I think the checkout should be should have. It should be removed from the in this example the checkout should be removed from the should have and must always be in the must have. I'll guess checkout, not like guest and checkout. Guest checkout is the should have. Yeah. So yeah, we can still launch without this guest should have, but if there's a guest should have, it's very nice because we can still earn money without people logging in. Okay, so could have is a wish list. So what is the difference between and would could have is just like a it's nice to have, and won't have is for now is like we will not put this as part of the release. Okay, so hope that is clear for you. Okay, so step three is to write BDD scenarios for each story. Break user stories into scenarios using given when what given when then example. So customer wants to add products to a cart. So this is where the Playwright BDD is going to shine because this will automate stuff like writing this alone. Like for example, the product owners are going to write this with plain English, and our QAs. So they're going to write this, and then where there's like a command that will generate this test for us. And it will put like a placeholder for your tests, and the developers will write the actual test, and the developers don't have to do this anymore. Even it doesn't even have to do this anymore because of AI, right? So stuffs are getting easier by the day, and eventually nobody's gonna have job because of the easiness of what we do. Okay, step five: decide development scope. So select batch small batches of stories for the sprint. Okay, so you have to write this before adding this to the sprint. Okay, so you have to write BDD's Gherkin stuff before you can add that to the sprint. So nice, right? Okay. So for now, this is just a theory. Maybe we haven't like think of like what you call that, edge cases on this workflow. This can be tested thoroughly by thinking or maybe even like applying this to our day-to-day job. All right, so decide development scope, yeah, add to cart, view cart, then the development coding. Developers look at the BDD scenarios first, write unit tests and step definitions for the, yeah, so this can be the step definition creation is will be automatically created, and that will, like, if things goes wrong, the developers can point to whoever writes the BDD scenarios. Okay, so this will like take away the responsibility of the developers if requirements are missed, because sometimes the people who write the requirements might just miss in the user stories and the tickets, and then it will the developers are gonna get blamed because hey, how can you not think of this? You are a senior developer already, right? Or you're an old guy already, and then you still cannot do critical thinking. Okay, so run BDD test locally. So this is a development job. For example, Angular, Cucumber. Like this is what I'm going to showcase today. And QA and test run. QA runs BDD scenarios against the dev environment. So it's still whatever was tested by the developer. It will be the same test scenarios that the QAs will test in the dev environment or in the QA environment for some organization. Okay, report bugs or mismatches. Developers fix code, updates, tests if needed, and BD test act as living documentation of the feature. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Like there should be like the behavior driven design development has a like a source of truth and living documentation of what we wanted to achieve. So it will not be get lost in the ocean of tickets in Jira where it always gets requirements keeps on changing, and we don't have like a source of truth. So yeah, so this is very good. And step 8, user acceptance UAT, deploy the feature, and user try the feature using real life scenarios, collect feedback, and confirm sign off. Okay. And what if things does not meet the um, real life scenarios? So those scenarios will get, I believe, the scenarios in our BDD test test will be updated, and the test will also be updated according to the real life scenarios that are like discovered in UAT. Okay, documentation, developer document for developers, API, blah 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 blah, blah. Document for users, feature guides. Yeah, so this is just like a feature guide, like how to for mere mortals help pages. Okay, step 10, product release. Merge sprint code to main. For us, we I believe we are using, I forgot the get flow that we're using. What's the terminology? Where we always merge to master. Uh, yeah, I forgot. But there's like strategies and how you manage branches, and that is like the organizational decision where everyone will follow. So some like junior devs that are like it's pretty obvious that they're just faking it till you make it, because I'm also like guilty of doing that before. Like they keep on talking nonsense stuff. For you it's nonsense, but for them it's very like, hey, I'm just showing off my how far I've done with my readings. But yeah, so it's cool. So run full CI/CD pipeline. Yeah, we can do this also. Full CI/CD pipeline? No, we should not do this for production, right? So this is on the lower environments. The tests, unit test, integration test. Yeah, maybe. And then deploy to production. Monitor logs, optional feature flag rollout, optional feature flag rollout. Yeah. Next start next sprint, remaining stories, repeat BDD workflow. All right, so that's it. That's the workflow, and we have here a mock meeting between developers. So sprint planning and BDD workshop participants, product owner, business analyst, developer, and QA. So for example, meaning kickoff, team one. So Clara is the product owner. Hey team, we want to build a simple e-commerce app. The main goal is that users can browse products, add them to a cart, and check out quickly. We want to deliver value fast. Hey, can you see my? I'm not sure if you can see my. How far are we? Okay. Okay, team, we want to build a simple e-commerce app. The main goal is that users can browse products, add them to a cart, and check out quickly. We want to deliver value fast, so let's focus on the core features first. Then Mark said, business analyst, audit. So the first step is to identify the user roles and their needs. I would suggest we have three roles: customer, guest, and admin. Then Anna said, hey, sounds good. For QA, we'll need clear acceptance criteria and testable scenarios. BDD can help us ensure that. So that's Anna. And Joel says, like, hey, as a developer, I'd like scenarios that I can automate from day one to guide coding. And step two, so user creation. So this is where you're going to write the roles and the feature and the value. So let's write scenarios in this format. Okay, so as here's one is as a customer, I want to view products. That is the feature. Want to view products so that I can choose items to buy. That is the value. So another mark suggested as a business analyst. So as you can see here, the business analyst, QA, dev, and PO had to say had a say on the user stories that they are creating. So, like for example, the developer here suggested, and will need as a customer, I want to check out with a credit card or PayPal, so I can pay easily. So, okay, yeah. So that's that's it. Creation of the user stories. Then now prioritization. So they're going to do this: must have, should have, could have, and won't have. And then the Clara put this as the Moscow prioritization. Joe said, so we'll focus on product listing, add to cart, and checkout the first sprint. So this Joe said, yeah, we are going to do this, and BDD scenario to workshop. Sorry, BDD scenario workshop. Okay, that is the step 4. Okay, Mark said, let's turn stories into given, when, then scenario. So this is like the BDD um, Gherkin. So that's where the Gherkin comes in. Then QA say, great, that will be the basis of our automation. So it's the business analyst that's going to turn the stories into scenarios. Okay. So I believe we need business analysts. We don't have a business analyst in our team, so maybe we suggest a business analyst to do this. Okay, so Jules' story customer wants to add. Okay, so this is like creation of the Gherkin, right? Feature shopping cart. Add product to cart. The scenarios add product to cart given. So this is a given when then the customer is on the product. When customer clicks add, then the product should act that blah 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 blah. Scenario. So everyone can add scenario. Create the feature first, then scenario, then add. Like see the QA here also added scenario for the checkout with payment. This is suggested by the PO, and then step 5 assigning work. So the developer is going to implement the code itself, the working code, and QA will prepare the test framework. We already have this. I prepared it already. Oh no, we don't have this in the dev environment. So people will do this in the dev environment. The pipeline. Okay, so I'll document all scenarios and keep them updated as we. Yeah, so this is like the documentation. So, but our BDD should be like the living documentation already. We don't really have to create documentation after this, but maybe we can use generative AI to use those BDD scenarios and convert them into like upper management readable documents. Okay, develop and QA cycle, blah blah blah, implement, run BDD test locally. QA runs BDD test in the dev or QA environment. Try to find bugs, report bugs to Jules, and UAT and feedback. Clara deployed to UAT. Let's have a few users to try. Okay, so this is where Clara is going to try. Like the add card, some confusion at checkout, adjust UI, updates UI, run BDD scenarios, all pass, blah blah blah. Step 8, release. Okay, confirms BDD scenarios are made and passing, uploads feature files to repository. So I'm not sure where this is. I thought that this will be in the project. So maybe we can have a separate project file for this. Maybe. Okay, so update, then management, blah 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 blah. Outcome. So the outcome will be the product launch with core features working. BDD scenarios act as living documentation. Blah blah blah. All the line from the start. Next sprint, pick up. Continue. All right. So that is the mock BDD meeting. So we are now going to take a look on what was like the technical details. So I installed in our For example, we have an Angular project. So I install this first, the Playwright and test, and Playwright BDD and Cucumber. I'm not sure if this is still like necessary. And then install Playwright and then init the Playwright. So once you initialize the Playwright in your project, it's gonna create this playwright.config.ts. So what you're going to do is first it doesn't have this and it doesn't have this. So this will be like the individual test directory. So this was been created for to work with Playwright BDD. As you can see here, define BDD config. So this is like the integration to BDD. Alright, so with this, these are like the projects, these are the browsers that's going to be set up, and this is the web server, so that when you execute, oh, when you execute this thing, like Playwright test, oh, not this one, like when you execute this, it needs to run the web app, and that needs to have like the server defined. So yeah, our URL is this one, localhost 4200. This is the command. I put this host and port because we are inside the dev container. It needs that so that it can access outside the it can be accessed outside the dev container. So these are the only changes that you need to update. Oh no, also the base URL, you need to update this so that your test will work. So here the test dir is going to use this test dir define and define BDD config. So these are the path to our feature. This yeah, so this is the, I believe the cucumber is. So Playwright feature, so this is the cucumber Gherkin definition. So it's going to pick up those definitions and then the steps. So these are the steps. So once you define this, for example, this feature, like what was discussed earlier, the creation of the scenarios and BDD Gherkin. So this is where you define feature, like they describe the feature, and then the QA and devs are people are going to write the scenario. So scenario, customer views, dashboard, then the given, then when, then, and. So once all of these scenarios are filled, you can then run the BDD npx BDD gen. So it's going to give us this placeholders here without this one yet, without this inside. So it's just going to translate this into TypeScript functions. So the given, when, like those defined here, and then it's the QA or the developer that is going to put the code here. So for example, if you say the customer is on the dashboard page, so you're going to write it here, like, so the page, you go to the dashboard URL, and then expect that the URL is dashboard. So that is to define this description here. And then when the customer navigates to the dashboard, so you're going to do that, and then the customer should see a title page. So you're going to describe here, like, look for a title. So the title, this is the selector, and check if it's visible. So if it's not visible, this test here will fail. In our dashboard, how we coded it is this. So as you can see here, this is the title selector, data test ID, and then page title. So this is how it finds it. Then the title should be, then that's it. Um, it's going to check the argument, and that is the dashboard, and then and so on and so forth. So when you put it on the steps, you've done the thing here. You've put in the code and the steps. You will then have that. So this is like automated already. So the steps here will the playwright config is going to pick up the steps here, right? So after that, you are then going to execute this. So when you execute that, this command BDD gen npx playwright test, and then tell what will be the reporter. It's going to be the HTML and a list. And once you do that, it's going to generate this gen features, gen playwright features. So this is like the actual test maybe that playwright is going to execute. And yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so let's see this in action. Okay, so we are first going to add a feature. So for example, our feature is product no, maybe catalog the feature. Okay, so for a catalog that feature, we're going to copy this, put this here, catalog that feature, catalog feature, right? Feature app catalog. We're going to define here as a customer or admin. See, it's very helpful. Copilot is very helpful. As a customer or admin, I want to view the catalog so I can see the available products and their details. We're not gonna do that for now. We're just going to test. Oh yeah, maybe we can do that. This will not be part of the automation. So customer here is customer views catalog. Given the customer is on the, yeah, I think we can change that automatically. Thank you, Copilot. The customer is on the catalog page. The customer navigates to the catalog page. Then when the customer navigates to the catalog page, then the customer should see a catalog title. The title should be, yeah, I think this is where it got picked up automatically here, right? See here, the title should be, see here, that title should be in string. See the magic there? String catalog. It passed this into the argument. So the title here, and I should have the title that was defined here. So cool, right? And you can also do that here. Okay, Copilot, do your job. Okay, thank you, Copilot. Okay, so that's it. Now that we have that, we are now gonna execute this npx bdd. Where's our terminal? Alright, so execute that. Okay, so the catalog, so we're going to create another step here, so that will be the catalog, the steps, the ts, and then we are gonna copy copy these things here that it gave us, and then put it here in the catalog. We're just going to help put the missing imports here, copy from what we have earlier, like that, and like for example this one here. We will define the constants, so it will be catalog, test data ID, catalog page. Okay. What's the okay? So Copilot is very helpful, but sometimes it tries. It made sometimes it will also have mistakes. Okay, so just correct that. See, it's so smart. I want to get away. Alright, so that's it. We're just clicking, and then it just gave us the codes. You don't have to write. Alright. Okay, so now that we have that, the catalog, we don't have the feature yet, so it will fail, right? So let's try. Let's try to run to show that this will fail. Okay, so this is our command for running. So it should fail. It passed in the dashboard. But why? What's the missing? Why it didn't generate this? It should have generated this one, right? What was the step to generate that? So it's this again. Let's see. Okay. Okay, we'll have to remove one. Okay, so let's execute this one again. See, the okay. So see, the Copilot just made mistakes, right? So you cannot trust generative AIs for now. Okay, so we have this generated already, the test. So now we are going to execute this one again. Detect, it will detect error because the actual page of catalog hasn't been created yet. So next thing we're going to do is to develop the feature that we want to develop. Right, so let's go to our features here, go to generate features, then catalog dot page. Right, features catalog dot page. So we have the page there. We're going to, yeah, we're not gonna update that for now, so that this will fail again. Then we're going to fix what failed. Right, so I'm going to say catalog page. Right, so let's run again the test. Again, because we don't have the title. Right, so now what we want to do is to fix the error, because here we are expecting that this is going to be catalog. And why we know that? Because of the thing here in the Gherkin. So here the title should be catalog. Okay, and we already updated the page here or the title, so we're going to run the test again, and it should pass. See, it passed. And that is the magic of behavior-driven development. I don't want to lose this. And I believe that's it. And then keep on changing the cycle. I hope that we can apply this in a real world scenario, not just for like this, but it's very nice. Very nice. I really like this. This will keep the entire team on one direction and no vague requirements gathering and no bugs for feature bugs. We can also like do this. Where is it? Show report. Support for this. See, you can see the report. Firefox, all Chromium, WebKit, all are passing. So very, very nice. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. We still have to learn a lot scenarios that we want to learn from Playwright and BDD. But it's very nice. Like for example, in our real cases, where I in the setup in the current company that I'm working with, set it up for SSO login. How do we tackle it correctly? What I did is a kind of hack, but yeah, I want to learn how to do that properly. And that's it. watching, and I'll see you again on the next video. Alright, cool. Thanks. Bye bye.